Good morning, welcome back. Today we've got two more samples from Beaufort, London. Beaufort, London. They've got this collection called From Hell or High Water, and these two are both from that collection. It is supposed to represent kind of like nautical kind of battles and things like that. I've got one called Tonnerre and another one called Fathom V. Tonnerre is the one I really want to try. That's the one I kind of picked this up for, really. But it's really sunny out today, and I think Tonnerre is full of like smoke and resin and wood. So I think I'm going to go with Fathom V, which is a bit greener apparently, just because of the weather, and I think it'd probably be kinder to everyone around me than Tonnerre. So today we're going to be sampling Fathom V. So what are the notes, right? There's a lot. The top notes: juniper berry, tangerine, blackcurrant, green leaves, earth. Heart is thyme, lily, jasmine, lang lang, ginger, cumin, black pepper, mimosa. And the base notes are patchouli, vetiver, moss, salt, frankincense, atlas cedar and amber. So as you can probably guess from the title, Fathom V, it's supposedly the deep ocean. I have no idea, so let's give it a pop and see what it's like. It's more perfumey than I expected. Let's give it a second. So it seems, I thought it was going to be quite dark and sort of ferocious and sort of dank, but it's actually quite perfumey. Hugely green. It's hugely green. It smells like if you're cutting weeds in a garden and you've got that kind of weed juice on your hands, that sticky kind of weed juice. It smells like that. It smells like the juice from sort of, or you know, if you just get a load of sort of leaves and just rip them up in your hands, you get that kind of, you know, that green juice basically. It smells like that, but with a slight kind of perfume edge to it, just to try and take off that, I guess, bitterness. That perfume edge sort of, I can smell sort of a little bit of floral, and I guess a little tiny bit of the blackcurrant. But otherwise, I can smell kind of the lily and jasmine, and a little bit of blackcurrant, and the rest is just all kind of green, sort of, yeah, just a big, huge lump of green, kind of nondescript green, I guess, because it just smells like kind of weed juice. Not very oceany, actually. Doesn't smell much like the sea. It smells a bit dirty, which, you know, I wonder if that'll come out. I kind of hope it does come out a little more, because at the moment it's almost like just hovering in the background, and it's almost like a little bit kind of dangerous in the background there. Not quite sure what, you know, how it's going to develop. So I'd quite like that to come out. But they're quite nice. But it doesn't remind me much of the ocean. I say it almost entirely just kind of mushed up green leaves, and I suppose there's a little bit of that earth in there, like it says, a little bit kind of earthy note to it, but mostly it smells like if you were just ripping up weeds in your hands and you had that green juice all over you. That is to me what it smells like, with just a faint perfume edge. To be honest, I could almost do without that perfume edge, because a bit like when I did the Oud de Nil, I don't, sometimes the balance is, to me, a little bit off, and you get that kind of green dirtiness in this, and a bit like Oud de Nil, you've got the floral kind of perfumey bit as well, but it ends up feeling a bit like the perfume's not strong enough, like you're trying to cover something up, because it's quite a natural kind of earthy smell, like you're trying to cover this up with a perfume, and the perfume's not quite strong enough to do the job, which, you know, so the blend needs to come together a little more for me, to find this pleasant, because at the moment it's nice, but I'm finding that there's like a division between the green earthiness and the sort of perfume of it, if you like. I need them to come together if I'm going to enjoy this. So we'll see where that goes, and hopefully that will come together. I don't get much of ocean. Like I say, calling it Fathom is a bit strange because I don't really feel like it's very oceanic. And as someone who's lived next to the ocean my whole life, I'm pretty sure I know what the ocean smells like, and it ain't this. Now I just said that, it's starting to get a little saltier. So clearly this is going to be a perfume that's going to develop. So yeah, I'll wear it for the day, and then I'll come back and I'll give you my kind of longer sort of my feelings about it. Yeah, cheers. It's about 15 minutes in now, and juniper berries come out quite a bit in it. But it's gone really soapy, strangely enough. It feels really soapy underneath everything. But it's still got that kind of dirt. And I think that's coming from like a patchouli. There's quite a dank patchouli in here. I feel like now, with those florals, they've calmed down a little bit, and the blend's kind of settled. And I feel a bit like this smells like perhaps like the waste of a flower shop. You know, where they've had like maybe flowers sitting in a tub of water all day, and then they would take the flowers out, or they'd sell the flowers or whatever, and you'd have that tub of water that would have this kind of slight kind of stemminess to it, like a sort of green tinge, and it smells like if you stuck your head in that bucket and sniffed, that's what you'd get, like this slight kind of floral green bitter water. Is sort of what I'm getting, but stick a load of soap in there as well because it is quite soapy. It's definitely got like a bit of dirt, and I feel like that's sort of added by the patchouli. So it's definitely a little bit dirty, but it's all right. I'm not convinced yet, but it's settled, and it's developing a lot, so it's going to be interesting. So I'm not convinced, but I guess we'll see where it goes. Cheers. Okay, I'm back. It's 10:10 at night, so I've been wearing Fathom V for 10 or so hours now, and I have to say this is a testament to how much I love you guys, because this smells like shit. To be a little bit less harsh about it and a bit more productive. I mean, it opens with that huge green, and to be honest, I wasn't a fan. I thought I'd give it a try, and I tried to be positive about it, but it was just too green for me. And after about half an hour, it was turning my stomach, and I was feeling like scrubbing it. And if it, I would have scrubbed it if it wasn't for the fact that I really wanted to see how it wore to make the video and give you like a proper kind of description of how it wears. But it just opens with this huge green, and that huge green just sticks around, and it could be nice, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and it just stays this like bitter green, sort of leafy, it's just huge green blob. And there is facets that I do like. In fact, I do actually quite like that huge green blob. That's actually quite nice. What I don't like is the soapiness that comes up, and it has this soapy feel. It's quite linear, so I can still smell it now. It has this kind of very sort of old lady perfumey sort of soapiness to it. I shouldn't really say old lady. That's a bit like kind of mean. What I really mean is like a kind of. What the hell, cat? What I really mean is this kind of generic-y kind of sort of stereotypical perfume kind of soap underneath everything. So it develops this, after about 10 minutes in, it develops this kind of very like stereotypical generic kind of perfumey soap like kind of vibe, and that sits underneath everything. But and that's my real problem with this, and I compared it to when I reviewed Eau de Nil, and it was exactly the same thing, where I don't mind soapiness in a perfume, and I don't mind sort of this kind of like slightly dirty green dankness in a perfume at all. One or the other, though. Do you know, like, I feel like you have either blend really, really well or choose one or the other. But in this perfume, it's like they're a clash, and you end up with this kind of dank, slightly dirty green, which is, I think, the dirtiness, like I say, seems to sort of come from like a patchouli, and there's definitely some kind of skank in there a little bit. But and that's fine, and I think that would be okay by itself. But then when you layer that kind of soapiness into that, suddenly it feels like you're trying to cover something up, and it's failing. And it feels like you've sort of washed with cheap soap to try and, you've been out weeding in the garden all day. Now you've got this kind of like weed juice all over you. That smells fine. That's the dank kind of greenness. But then, you get in and you wash your hands and with this cheap soap, and what you're left with is like half and half, like you've half cleaned your hands with this, and you've got this kind of odor of cheap soap left over. And that's what this smells like. And it doesn't really progress past that. And I thought it was pretty gross, to be honest. I absolutely thought it was gross. It's pretty linear, doesn't really progress. A bit later, you get this kind of like, I did notice the time came out a little bit. So and actually, I liked that one note, but it was brief and just like a small piece of it. I thought it didn't resemble the sea at all. Not for a second. I really like the idea of someone who couldn't do the sea well, because the sea smells amazing. It's dark, it's dank, it's got that kind of skankiness to it, but it's green, it's fresh, and I like all of these facets of the sea. I love the sea. It smells amazing. This doesn't smell anything like the sea, not for a second. This smells like like florist's water. Like it smells a bit like going to a florist, and yeah, like sniffing the like an old watering can or something from a florist that's had some flowers sitting in it or something like that, because you get that kind of floral, that with the florals, which are very understated, you end up getting the kind of flower stems and such, like, and it smells a bit like kind of old flowers. I mean, artistically, I suppose you can say there is an element of kind of like, it scores a couple of points for that, I suppose, and for being a little bit different. But it's not. But just being different doesn't mean it's good, and you can be different in a very bad way. And I feel like this is it. Maybe if you're really, really, really into greenery, you should give this a go. But otherwise, I can't see why anyone else would enjoy it. There's not really anything in it that. It's quite a boring perfume. It's just green. So kind of quite disappointing overall, really. Who do I think it's for? I mean, it's unisex, 100%. I just don't know when you'd want to wear it or why you would want to wear it or anything. It's dank, it's dirty, it's green, and that's great. And then it's got this kind of floral, cheap soapiness to it, and that's not great. It's just not my thing. And I just can't see. There's no saving grace to me. I just don't know why you would want to wear this. In fact, everyone that I asked today, I sort of said, give that a sniff. So just tell me what you think. Everyone came back and said that's horrible. So there you go. Apparently, it smells really good on a paper strip. I haven't smelled it on a strip. I did see a review, because I looked at some other reviews of this to see if anyone else liked it, and another review that I found said that it smelled really great on a paper strip. So maybe it does, but on my skin it was just absolutely rank, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much my review of that. Say hopefully Beaufort's Tonnerre will be a lot better. I'm looking forward to that one, because that's meant to be quite a challenging scent, but I like, it's got a lot more things in it that I like. So greenery I'm kind of into, but I'm not this into it. Whereas Tonnerre, it's all smoke and gunpowder and wood, and that sounds great to me. So hopefully, it'll be better than this one, because this one is certainly, I won't be buying this. So yeah, thanks for watching. That was Beaufort's Fathom V. Pretty fucking horrible. Cheers.